Hey, I'm Ken Levine. I'm the creative director of Irrational Games. Stories of people leaving and joining. I mean, you work at a company, people leave and people join, and we were up to almost 200 people at one point, and just mathematically, you're going to have some turnover. It's just what happens. So it's not, I don't think the corporate culture changed very much when, over the past couple of months. It was really when we grew the team to be able to take on this scale of this project. That's when things got a little complicated on the management side, because you have to develop structures we had never really developed before. You have people, because you have 180 people or something. When you have 30 people, you know everybody. When you have 180 people, it gets more complicated, and you have to start figuring out how you keep your culture while growing these structures, while building the video game, all at the same time. And when we're not a company, outside, in the development side, there's nobody on the development side who doesn't have development tasks. I am the lead writer, and I sit there, at my keyboard with Final Draft, and I write the hell out of things. And in terms of the amount, I'm not starting with the quality. Just keep writing. I write and I write and I write. And Rod has tons of development tasks himself, besides managing, and everybody's got tasks. So we don't like to have people who are strictly just managers. So the trade-off for that keeps us honest as developers, because we don't. It limits. It sort of. It sets. We understand sort of what goes into a lot of the work, because we have to do a lot of the work. But it also means we don't have people sit around full time thinking about how you grow from 50 people to 180 people. Rod Fergusson is obviously an incredibly capable and talented developer, and when you get a chance to hire, to bring on board a guy like Rod Fergusson for a product like BioShock Infinite, you're a fool, if you don't do that. And Rod was drawn, he came up to see the game, July or whatever, August, and he got to the part with the baseball, and I think at that point he was like sold on what we were doing, because I think it was important to Rod. I can't speak for him, but I think it was important to him to work on a game that was not just, he had worked on games that were sort of known a lot for their gameplay and their incredibly great gameplay, and I think he wanted to also be on something that was doing something very, very, very different in the narrative space as well. So I think that drew him up here, and we certainly benefited from his experience at Epic, in the sense that he brought his own notions of development, which some of them are different from ours, but what's great about that is there's not a ton of intermingling in the games industry like there's in the film industry, where you work on a movie for 3 months and then you go do another thing, but you all live in the same town, so you're constantly having lunch with each other and getting to know each other and mixing and mingling. So I don't meet a lot of other game developers up in Boston. So it was great just to get to know Rod and spend so much time with such a senior developer. Because look, I'm the oldest person in the company, and I've been in the industry for longer than almost everybody in the company, and so it's nice to be able to learn from people, like Rod. I learn from everybody, but Rod has just so much experience that he really brought a lot to the table, and just made it even better a game. I think it would have been everything benefited from having him on board. BioShock Infinite is coming out March 26, 2013.